You're alive. So the tube says. Got a few questions here, testing out the camera setup for next week's live call-in show. Also going to answer a couple questions that I received via email, kind of centered around outdoor saunas. I've got about 15 minutes before I'm going to head out here. There seems to be some confusion still about outdoor saunas and the elements, especially people in the north, and not considering the way temperature affects, in particular, the way an outdoor sauna or a traditional dry electric or a steam sauna heat you up. And I've made videos on this in the past. I'm not really sure where the disconnect is, but I want to go over it again. Got a question here via email that I'm going to read really quick about somebody that left a message and I wasn't able to get with them over the weekend. But they're basically wondering if they can either build an enclosure around a sauna and still have it be effective, or what's the criteria for an outdoor sauna that will withstand temperature. And in like a lot of the other videos, the basic criteria is just think about it like a house. You know, if it's 0 degrees outside or it's 30 below zero outside, like a really bad day in Maine or something, in order to create a temperature of 150 degrees, what do you think has to happen with the heat output of the sauna? Not only has to match and exceed the environment, the sauna also has to be able to hold that heat for an extended period of time so that you don't have, issues with dropping temperature, having an increase in core body temperature and then losing it, things like that. So what is that stuff? It's going to be insulated walls. It's going to be, and the biggest differentiator, now that I think about it, before I shot this video, I should have taken one of the saunas behind me apart and shown you the hollow core walls, because it's pretty easy to see while there are, they're uninsulated walls. So if you have a temperature difference of, over 100 degrees, let's just say it's 0 outside, and you want a sauna to perform at 135 or 140 or something like that, there has to be something that's holding that heat, increasing the performance. It's going to be one heck of an R value. You've got to have rubber seals on the doors. There can't be air gaps. You've got to have double pane windows. All these things that I talk about in the outdoor sauna videos. I think a lot of these get buried, meaning, maybe I shot them a year and a half ago and they're just not new enough for folks to find or to see, or maybe I did a poor job with the titles, right? And they're not searchable, yada, yada, whatever the case may be. In order to have a good sauna experience outside, you cannot, no matter how good it is, right? Because one of the things that I've noticed lately is that people are emailing me questions and saying, hey, Matt, such and such company said I can use this indoor. I could buy their sauna, right? It's an indoor sauna. I can put it outside and I can just buy a cover for it. But what happens in the wintertime? What happens when the sun absolutely destroys the bottom of it because the cover doesn't, completely encapsulate the bottom? Like there's like a skirting flap. And what happens when rain bounces up underneath there? You get moisture, you get mold, you get all these things. Usually that's just somebody trying to make a sale. If you want an outdoor sauna, you need to buy an outdoor specific sauna. It's going to be a lot more expensive, but it will actually last and it'll actually work. The other thing is, I wouldn't trust an indoor sauna outside with just a cover on it, for reason of, if you don't have a sauna with an actual outdoor weatherproof roof, if the cover rips in the wind, if, it deteriorates from the sun, after 6 months of getting beat on, if you have trees and a branch falls on it and you don't notice it and it punctures just a little bit, or if you have, all these different things. If you get any moisture in the ceiling where the electronics are, it can drip down into the walls, or, all of these things, it's going to render the sauna useless. You're not going to be covered under warranty. It's just not a good idea to put an indoor sauna outside. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but these are questions that I've been getting, and I understand exactly where they're coming from. They come from folks calling a sauna company and saying, hey, I've got this lanai, an uncovered lanai, like with an open pergola or something, and I'd love to put a sauna out there. It's going to look beautiful. We have the space for it. We don't have an extra room in our house, whatever the case is. And instead of telling them, we really want your business, but this isn't the right fit for you, which is the right thing to do, and figuring out some other way that they could help them, they just say, oh, yeah, so-and-so company buys or sells covers, or you could do this, or you could put a clear Lexan roof underneath your pergola, which actually would work a lot better than the cover, by the way, if you're interested in doing something like that. but it's not going to help you in cold temperatures. It's not going to help the sauna perform. It's not going to help it stay out of the humidity and the sun and things like that. And there's no UV coating or polyurethane or exterior protectant on an outdoor sauna. I'm sorry, on an indoor sauna. I'm getting all confused. I'm looking over at this beautiful corner sauna in the corner of this room here. Generally, outdoor saunas have some type of weatherproof coating, both on the lumber, on the roof, on pretty much everything that's exposed. Double pane windows, rubber seals, the same thing I say all over again. But yet I'm still getting these email questions. So wanted to make a fresh video. If you guys have additional comments on this, go ahead and throw them. I'm sorry, if you have additional questions, it's definitely Friday. It's time for a break. Throw them in the comments. I'll see them later. I can always do a follow-up video. If you have questions specific to outdoor sauna installations, like can you just put a paver bed down, or do you need to pour a concrete footer or something like that? Trying to be as specific as possible. Some people's idea of having a solid base for a foundation to mount an outdoor sauna on is, throwing some sand down over some leaves and then putting pavers on top of them and they're not compacted, and then wondering why in 12 months from now it's kind of all rickety, right, in order to save money from not pouring a concrete pad. I'm not saying you need to pour a concrete pad. A paver base or a paver setup is fine for a foundation for an outdoor sauna, but you want to excavate a little bit. You want to bring in some crushed granite or some other crushed stone. You want to compact it with an actual compactor. If you're going to do this yourself, you need to rent one. Home Depot rents them. This is not rocket science. And you want to go ahead and grout the pavers, which means if you don't want them to move over time from down or from under pressure from tree roots and stuff like that, you want to put in some type of edging, whether it's concrete or pound in. And then you actually want to grout the pavers with soft sand so that those interlock. And then once that gets hard, you've got a really good foundation that'll last for years to come, as long as Bill Jack says, Bill in Florida. Interesting. How's it going, Bill? Are you trying to tell me something with the Bill in Florida thing? Anyway, you don't necessarily have to pour a concrete pad. That was one of the questions from last week, is can I get away with not doing that? Yeah, if you have a really tight space into your backyard, you'll be able to disband the pallet, because all these saunas are going to come on a pallet in the driveway. You'll be able to carry the pieces around and then set it up wherever you want. And if it's super tight back there and you're worried about getting a concrete truck back there, or you don't want to hire a pump crew, or you don't want to tear up your yard, you don't want to do this, I totally understand. You can do it with pavers. Just make sure that it's an actual, like, commercial quality paver job, not like, we're going to get some pavers from Home Depot and set up, those, that's what I'm thinking of. Those little concrete footer blocks they sell at Home Depot? People just set them on top of the ground. They put a 4x4 post on top, and then they build a deck. And then 5 years later, the deck joists are ripping the ripping the siding off the house that they lag screwed into. It's kind of like that, right? If you do it right the first time, you won't have to worry about it. Bill, do you have a question? I'm just curious, bud. Bill in Florida, Bill Zajac Jr.? Zajac? How do you say that? Hopefully next week. Camera seems to be working good, by the way. If you guys could comment on, if there's anybody on here live, you could comment on camera quality, microphone quality, audio quality. This is the final setup for the call-in show. The purpose of doing today's video really is to test this out, see how it goes. And 800 number is all set up for next week. Checking the soundboard. Camera streaming seems good. Faux battery pack. So no more dying live streams halfway through. And streaming quality seems pretty good. So anyway, let me see if there's anything else for these outdoor saunas. If you guys have any questions live, I can grab them. Be here for about 5 more minutes, and then I got to roll. Let's see. Best way to install. We kind of covered that. The other thing I didn't mention today about the outdoor saunas is your electrical service. The majority of outdoor saunas, whether it's infrared, dry electric, whether it's a barrel sauna, most all of them are going to be 220. So, I mean, if you're not an experienced electrician and you wouldn't know this off the top of your head, this has got to be trenched to the install location. This is not something that's just going to be like an above ground hookup. Generally, you trench it back, dedicated breaker, and probably for code in your area, there's going to be a disconnect sub breaker, either on a 4x4 right next to the install location. I suppose you can mount it to the sauna itself if if you installed it before the electrician did the hookup, but it's probably going to need to be in conduit to be up to code in your location, disconnect breaker, and then it's definitely going to be its own line. So the folks that were wanting to know if they could run an I don't mean to laugh at those particular folks, but the ones that were asking if they could run an extension cord and basically put a 15 amp sauna outside and then build a little enclosure around it. I suppose you could do something like that, but dedicated outdoor saunas are definitely going to require independent electrical service, and it is 220, so it's probably something you're going to want an electrician to do the majority of. You could dig the trench, you could run the wire if they'll let you. You could do the conduit yourself if you wanted to save a few bucks, but definitely let someone that's experienced do the hookup. And surviving the 6, what's happening? Good afternoon to you as well. What's happening in your world? Good to see you again. Doing a little camera test here, talking about outdoor saunas, surviving the 6th. Trying to paraphrase some questions that I've gotten to this weekend via email but haven't gotten. Real purpose of today's video, doing it live, is just to test the camera gear. Planning on doing 2 live streams next week. One of them is going to be a live call-in show, so you'll be able to call in on an 800 number and be broadcast, and people will be able to hear your questions and interact with me just like this. And I think that'll add a little bit of context to a lot of the conversation. I got some feedback from some folks that while the videos and live streams are useful, if you can't actually have a conversation and have a two-way discourse, folks leave videos and live streams and continue to do more research, and they don't get to the bottom of their questions or whatever it is that they're trying to do. So in an effort to be more effective and helpful, I'm going to try a live call-in show. Hopefully we don't get a ton of hucksters. There could be some interesting things, which if I'm not proficient in running the soundboard, I won't be able to mute. So that won't be left up for replay. What does your 4-4 mean? Surviving the 6th. What is 4 out of 4? By the way, and maybe that could be something simple and my brain's tired. It is Friday afternoon. I'm ready for some dinner. Don't know what that is, though. Please enlighten me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Questions. Anybody else have any live questions? I can get to those 2-3 minutes here. Then I got to roll. That means good. Can hear you. 4 out of 4. Excellent. I haven't heard someone choose 4 out of 4 before. It's usually 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Thank you. I get it now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was curious if the audio was, if the audio level was either too high or too low. There are audio monitors flickering on the screen, but I noticed that it changes, like if I come in really close or I'm back here a little bit. Got it. Yeah. 10-4. Roger that. Thank you for the feedback, though. I appreciate that a lot. Everything else seem okay? Focus on camera seem okay? I noticed there's like a little bit of lag there, but that should be normal. Face tracking seems to be just fine. Anybody else have any questions for today, by the way? Going once, going twice. I think I'm going to have to start singing my intro music as well. I bought some supposed to be royalty-free music and playing it on the intro, but YouTube's still flagging the test live video, which is not good. If you guys don't know anything about that, basically somebody else will claim copyright on your videos. Yep, 10 out of 4, 10 out of 20. Got it. Cool. Anybody else? I'm going to go ahead and log off, guys. We'll plan to see you next week. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and look forward to speaking to some of you live next week. I'll have an 800 number that's posted ahead of time. You'll be able to call in if you like. A couple of folks expressed interest in, I call it camming up, but basically having a webcam on your end, coming on the show live. We'll split the screen. It'll be half me, half you if you want to be seen. Otherwise, we'll be able to do it over the phone. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good show. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you surviving the 6th. Bill, waited for you, bud. I don't know what that was all about.